Well, as you can tell, I'm dragging the baler behind me. Well, maybe you can't tell. The window's kind of dirty. Well, Ryan unhooked the merger earlier, and I guess he got a bunch of oil all over the back of the window. Well, it's pretty obvious. And that dirt, for how much dirt I'm throwing up right now, it just sticks to that oil. But the plus side to that, when I go to wash the dirt off, it's going to take all that oil off with it. So I'm not going to get done tonight. That really wasn't my intentions. This is the stuff that we baled 4 days ago, and it is over 60 acres. I'm gonna have about 25 acres done at least. I don't know how late I'm gonna go. Probably until the warden calls me asking me where I'm at and that she's home, but I'm trying to get as much done as I can tonight because they're calling. They're calling for rain the day after tomorrow. So the hay was ready to be made today as it was. I didn't get started until 3:30, which, you know, it's good and dry anyway. I got my part for my sprayer, so I can put that on in like 5 minutes. It's ready to go back together. But then once I get done baling the last that I got to bale tomorrow, which is probably going to take me a healthy part of the day yet. I got 2 tanks of fertilizer over at the home farm waiting for me. So I'm going to be trying to get that spread before we get any rain. Ideally, so the rain can help wash it into the roots. Being a liquid fertilizer, it should get taken right in. The stuff that the video I did a while back, I sprayed down the strips over at the home farm. That made a huge difference. I mean, that was 32%. The stuff Ryan sprayed out here, that was a cultivator mix. That wasn't meant to be sprayed on hay ground. It was meant for side dressing my corn, and it did help. I mean, you could actually see it was a subtle line where it actually had helped the corn, but that straight 32 over at the farm, huge difference. The grass is already about 6 inches tall, nice dark green, healthy. At least it's making me feel like doing the liquid fertilizer was the right decision. Not something, if Grandpa was still around, that's probably something I never would have done. Because you get the old farmer advice that they never did it, so don't bother doing it now. I'm not trying to discredit, you know, the old guys, because they knew what they were talking about a lot of the time too. But at the same time, they were also not very willing to try new things, new technologies, or to try different ways to farm. So everybody knows my opinion on dairy. We aren't going to go back to dairy. Do I miss it? As odd as it sounds, and it's going to make me come across as really weird, I miss the smell of the dairy operation. That is a smell that, as a farm kid, you never forget. My neighbor, he's got a beef operation, and I absolutely love when you can smell the corn silage when they're doing that. Corn silage and cow manure, dairy cow manure, I don't know what it is. I'm weird, and I really don't mind. But probably the 2 biggest things I miss about milking. I don't miss getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to pretty much do an unforgiving job, but I didn't start this video to complain about dairy. I do miss cows, I just don't miss dairy cows. And, you know, it's actually really pretty out here. Well, the grass is coming up really nice. That coon mower, Ryan cut this part, did an awesome job cutting this nice and even. It almost looks like your house yard. I mean, you could come through in 2 or 3 days and hit this with your lawnmower, and you wouldn't be able to tell if it was field or not. So, a little bit of everything that's going on. I already told you about the fertilizer. Once the fertilizer's on, we'll be in August. Tomorrow is August 1st, for those of you keeping score. We're going to have a month or so for this hay crop to give us a third cut. And we're going to have, if we get the weather to do it, all together, I mean, I alone will have 150. And we got 160, 75, 210. I don't know, I want to say somewhere between 220 and 250 acres that we got to go through and cut one more time. That's going to be, might be borderline brutal. I don't need to do that. It might be kind of rough because it's going to be waterways again. It's going to be all the contours. It's going to be the valley. It's going to be the bottom ground. It's going to be everything. And the way things are looking right now, by the time I get all of this made, my parents are going to be sitting really good as far as feed for their own cows. So everything that I make for third cut for my parents will hopefully, you know, that 4-letter word, hope, plan. So yeah, I got a whole different set of swear words I say in this channel. The plan is the third crop hay for my parents is actually going to be a marketable, a marketable product. Stick it inside and I'll sell it, hopefully. And I don't like saying I want snow, but with a cold, miserable winter, really, everybody's cattle are going through their feed, their grass, their bales pretty healthily to stay warm and make that energy to stay warm in the winter. And it'll at least help hay prices. I was selling my poor quality hay last year for 120 bucks a ton. I'll take that for everything all day long. That's not what we end up getting. I sold the good quality, the high quality, the really nice hay last year for less than half of what I sold the poorer quality stuff for. So that is the problem when it comes to making hay to sell. You can't really lock it in. If you can, I have a hard time finding somebody that's willing to pay X, Y, and Z and lock that price in. They want to pay market price. But I do have a local market to sell it to. It's an auction. But selling a load a week for myself, for my hay, or like selling my parents' feed a load a week, I'll do that all day long, all winter long. It's a monthly paycheck. It's a weekly paycheck. That's where I'm really at with this hay ground. So I'm not trying to sit and talk about finances all the time, but as crummy as the corn and bean crop price, or corn and bean prices are, I'm actually feeling not too bad. Probably should be feeling worse than I am, but I'm not. I'm trying to enjoy summer. So once we go through and we get this fertilizer on this weekend, I'm going to clean the sprayer up, probably hose it down with WD-40, try to alleviate some of that nitrogen damage from rusting all the metal parts on it. Then I'm going to winterize it, clean it out, winterize it with that RV coolant, and I'm going to find some place to stick it away and forget about it till next year, but at least knowing that it's ready to run next year. So that'll be done. My hay rake, I don't know what to tell you. The metal teeth on it, Dad didn't like them because they bend easy. I ran the New Holland rake today, or as you guys saw in my last video. I abused it. I abused that rake a lot more than I really wanted to, and across some of the ground conditions I had down there. And slow down, slow down, slow down. Yeah, I didn't have any busted teeth. So personally, I'm still leaning towards keeping the metal teeth. Some guy posted that I should be buying from a dealership and not junk parts off, or the cheapest parts off the internet. That wasn't the cheapest parts off the internet. That was from an actual dealer. And we burned through what, 4 or 5 teeth? I don't know if I can really complain about that. I went and bought 15 rubber teeth. I might throw them on as more of a backup, but myself, I think the rubber teeth would have busted. I really do. At least the spring teeth, the metal, I think they flex better. That's just my own opinion. Whether or not it's true or not, it's probably false, and I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to give you my experiences at least. So how's everybody else doing across the country? I think I've started saying it enough as it is, but sprayers being put away, and I have a laundry list of machinery to work on the month of August. So you guys can pretty well expect a lot of, this is what I'm working on, this is what happened, this is why it needs to be fixed videos. The baler is right at the top of the list. The gearbox that the power takeoff goes into in the front of the baler, I got to rip that off and I got to rebuild it. At the very least, looks to me like, well, the seal is out, it's leaking, I can't keep oil in it. So I got to pull that out, fix it. I got a month to do that. The grain auger, gearbox needs to be replaced on that altogether. Reman, I was told it was easier just to put a new reman on it than it was to try to find parts and replace the old gearbox. We got a bushing that's bad on that. I got to clean out the blue harvester again because we put in some sketchy corn from last fall in it. It is what it is. The fall we had last year, I mean, I'll own up to it. We put some corn we probably shouldn't have put into it, but at least we were able to utilize some of that corn rather than lose it altogether. But the goal is to get that harvester cleaned out again. At least the auger isn't bad on it. And then we're going to go through and put in some dry shell corn this fall. Combine needs to be pulled out. The bean head needs to be finished up. The combine, the contour master does not like to work properly. I'm done trying to figure out what's wrong with it. I'm calling the dealer up and the dealer can figure it out. I actually trust their combine tech, so just set them loose with it, figure it out, just fix it. We don't have a whole lot of soybeans this year, but we will be raising more next year. Unless I pick up some more land, which I'm actually thinking about a little bit more here lately. I'm going to be heavier beans next year than corn. Not because I want to be, but it's actually how my rotation is going to work out. And we're going to have probably 200 to 300 acres of soybeans next year. Just how the dice is going to get rolled, I guess, but it's kind of hard to get excited about raising corn right now. High inputs and low payout. Right now you can sell corn for this fall with a 2 in front of it. That is just downright unacceptable. So yeah, I guess you guys are going to be getting a whole lot of fieldwork videos just because we're caught up on hay work. The bottom, the grass down the valley, it's going to be left to grow. Let it grow as much as it can. You're probably going to see a video of me spraying fertilizer again, but that'll be that. And then back to the boring old talking to the machine shed videos. I'll keep posting as long as I can though. So, alright, I gotta focus on what I'm doing because I think I'm gonna get shut down here sooner than later. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. Take it easy. Keep in touch. You're watching the rest of the story. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm sure you guys hear that enough as it is, but as always, if you don't, the channel just kind of falls into obscurity. So, talk to you later.